Well, I mean, I would start by saying, I think by the grace of God, we're seeing more and more examples of intentional disciple making happen in the church and movements of churches making disciple. But I would still say, and I think most people would agree with this if they kind of look at the Western church, the American church, that disciple making really isn't a huge priority in the church today. I think we've been in kind of a church growth movement, which I think we kind of see is starting to pass a little bit.
And explain that, like, what do we see the church doing versus what we kind of should be doing?
Yeah.
And I know we want to be careful here, but just generally.
And it's, we're obviously speaking a little bit in generalities, but I think you can divide people's view and vision of the church into, kind of answering what is the goal or the primary responsibility of the church. And I think some people would say it's to reach the lost, and some people would say it's to build up believers or to grow believers. And I think the church growth model of how can you attract the lost people into your church through making it really relevant, really trendy a lot of times, has primarily said the church is about attracting and evangelizing lost people, which is obviously a good and great thing. We want to see people come to know Christ
for sure.
But I would say biblically, the primary responsibility of the church is to prepare God's people for doing the ministry themselves, or to help Christians mature.
Right.
And I think that's what disciple making is. And so I think I would love to see churches focus on how do we equip our members to feed themselves spiritually, to grow, to flourish in their personal walk with Christ, and then how do they then go out into whatever context they're in and reach the lost people around them with the gospel and make disciples out in the world.